All right, all systems are go. All systems are go. All right, this is mainly meant for my members, but if anyone else wants to watch it, you're more than welcome to. It's important on the weekend to come to your chart, look at it with a fresh set of eyes. Make sure you haven't moved lines, deleted lines. I'm horrible at moving lines. And so, yeah. All right, let's remove this little, having fun with some AI images. All right, so chart tune-up for Sunday. Market opens in 29 minutes. You can see that on the bottom left. And maybe we'll be here when the market opens and watch that. All right, got a big old glass of water. All right, so we're looking at the monthly chart here and looking to see if there's anything on the monthly I need to make sure I mark, mainly as far as inefficiencies or things like that. Clear, clean, crisp levels. It's really, really muddy. There are no clean, clear, crisp levels to really mark. This monthly fair value gap here. This is also front side fair value gap, so we can mark that a little bit tighter. And I think that's what I'll leave it at. All right, let's go to the weekly chart. All right, let's turn on the weekly levels. And what do I need to mark? Well, certainly the stuff this week that happened. So here is a weekly fair value gap, but I know I have that marked because last week we marked that as a potential weekly fair value gap. And so it's the exact same level. So now I'm just going to call that a weekly fair value gap. I'm not going to worry about marking it on the weekly chart. I got it on the daily there, so I'm not too worried about that. But I want to just make sure that was marked. Last week's low was done in the London. Makes it definitely a really good target. So let's go ahead and mark this as the weekly low here. Make sure your magnet tool is on. All right, so I want to mark that weekly low, and I want to go back in time here, or drop in time frames, and I want to make sure I know which session that was created in. All right, so it was done in the RTH. So we know that this weekly low was done in the RTH session, which I like to know. So once again, this weekly fair value gap is marked. I don't need to mark it. And we got the volume and balance down here. I want to hit monthly. Let's see if there's anything there on the monthly I had marked. Look at the daily. Okay, I already got that marked on the daily, so I'm cool with that. All right, I think that's it for the weekly. And in fact, while we're on the weekly chart, let's go look at everybody else on their weekly chart as well. And I'm just marking the high time frame inefficiencies here as well. Now this break level here is tested. I got some fair value gap, volume imbalances. It completed that volume imbalance. NQ, boy, tell me how different does Dow look compared to ES and NQ? Jeez. You know, I know we've got the AI wild card, and is that the thing that's going to continue to send us to the stratosphere? I'm at 1, 2, 3, 5 weeks of monster up. That is just amazing. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4. We had a down week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then a down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then a down. I do think this 567 level on NQ should be on your chart if you're an NQ trader. All right, let's come back up over here. I want to put that back in my weekly. Now let's go to the daily chart. Let's pull it all back in. All right, let's go to the daily chart here. So I remember it took this daily fair value gap, and that was beautiful. I was waiting for it to come a little deeper for me to go long. I would have went long with an option had it came a little deeper, but it didn't, and missed out on a nice trade. It is what it is. You pick your bounce levels, and you pick the one you want to, if you're going to do an option play for a little bit of a longer term exposure, and missed it. It is what it is. Okay. So what do I have here on this daily chart I want to make sure is marked? Now, this daily chart, I also have another folder called session levels, which really takes care of the highs and lows. Really, what I'm doing here is I'm looking for inefficiencies that I want to mark out. Nothing here. We've just got this monster dominant candle here. Everything's going to be based off its high and low here. And to me, this opening and this close going to be really, really critical. Opening seems like it's the next point that it might want to go to and could have some sort of rejection there. But we left no inefficiencies here. This candle took them all out. And I think I've marked everything underneath there as it needs to be marked. So I'm happy with those markings. And I don't think I accidentally deleted or moved anything. So now what we want to do is I want to go to my sessions. Go to my 30 minutes. I love these colored blocks. Now, I did not invent the colored blocks. Someone in the PineScript community made that a publicly available thing, and I used it. I wish I remembered who it was. So I don't claim those boxes as mine. I was creating boxes, and then I found it, and I went, you know what? I love those. It's already done. Why reinvent the wheel? All right. So what are some levels we need to mark? Well, we need to mark this RTH session low. So RTH low. And notice that's really not the daily low or the daily high, because it may not be, but it is an RTH low. Why do we want to mark those separately? Because that's where the volume was. That's where the volume was. And that's where we deserve to mark it. So this is RTH high. And in fact, let's stop right here for a second. Let's come over here to these things, and let's go ahead and get our, so the RTH, so that high is still valid. This needs to pull to here, this low. This is the half back. Let's move this low here. Watch out, train. Let's move this here, half back here. We'll see where we open tonight and all that good stuff. If we're still here, we might be done early. All right, this needs to move to the low. Boy, what a small range Dow had on Friday. Just a small range. My goodness. Okay. Let's raise that out. Let's move this here. And Russell with a small range as well. Which makes sense because the day before was Monster. And we were fully on board in our group of, if you didn't watch the weekly results show, I recommend you watch that one as well. We were in the risk of short covering as high, and that is certainly what we got. Toby with a monster long trade. I tried to be long 3 times, and then eventually just said, you know what, I'm out. Price is not behaving in the way I need it to behave. Okay, so we've got those now marked, which is great. So when I come here in the morning, which there really isn't trading tomorrow, but still I'm going to do this out of discipline. And you should too as well. Okay. So he's definitely took the half back of this day. I don't need to mark it. Then we got this high here, and this is the all-time high done in the London session. Rarely are all-time highs and lows secure, done in the overnight. Probably true in this case as well. And there's where I hit that really nice short. So that was great. Don't need this on my chart. Purpose of this is really session highs and lows. And I think that's it, because that's the dominant daily candle. This engulfed everything else. If I was to, heck, let's do this. Let me move all these levels now into the session levels folder. You can't see that, but that's what I'm doing. And So the single prints and VWAPs, there was nothing up here left. They're all below us. Those are on the price map at microstrader.com if you want to put those on your chart, and I encourage you to do so. Let's pull up these higher time frame trend lines. Let's go to an hourly chart. Let me pull up the trend lines. Come on, turn on. There we go. All right, here, let's dial this down a little bit. Man. Okay. So I want to make sure you're seeing it all. So certainly this was the dominant trend line, and then we went parabolic, and that parabolic has gotten swung out, and now we've broke that. I'm not going to take this further down to here, because I'm going to draw my own little trend line here from this overnight set, from this low of this candle. So I'm going to go ahead and draw that there as well. I'm going to keep this line here, and the reason why is because I want to know when we get back to it. So I'm going to keep that there, but we're going to establish a new trend line there, in my humble opinion. So let's go back to a 30-minute chart. Let's bring this back in. And let's connect these things. This helps you stay on sides. It does not necessarily give you a trade, but it helps you stay on sides. And notice this point to this point, the third point bounced perfectly. When that third point bounces perfectly, and actually you could probably say third, fourth point right here, third, fourth point, that's a good line. So I feel comfortable with that. Like I said, it doesn't give me a trade unless I have a level matching trend. Then that gives it the extra confluence. You know, like I don't trade VWAP blindly, but if I had VWAP in one of my levels, hey, that gives extra confluence. That's how I look at these trend lines. It gives it extra confluence. All right. Let me make sure on the 30-minute chart here, there was nothing left behind as far as single prints or whatnot. There wasn't. Let me turn back on my session levels. I feel comfortable with that. All right, well, heck, we're about done because we're already on the 30-minute chart. This is the high time frame stuff. So let me bring up my 30-minute levels here. I want to make sure there's nothing there. So there was that 30-minute front side there. We had this front side here that provided a bounce. So we're going to certainly, let's come in here and let's add this to our 30-minute chart. Okay. I want you to add those, put those in your 30-minute folder. Now, just because they're there does not mean they're shorts. Okay. Really, the play there, if we were to pop on the chart right now, we'd have to say the play is long or flat, but we kind of went parabolic. So we got to be careful. It already had a nice little pullback, which, by the way, let's, whoops, sorry. So by the way, let's turn on my last published strong levels. And let's go to a 10-minute chart just to tighten this up. And I think we played very well with these levels. And when I'm done with this, I will take a break and come back and look at the chart again with a fresh set of eyes to see how I want to update the strong levels. Where do I want to put, be careful with the longs above, or be careful with, or be careful with longs below, be careful with shorts above. Where's the bull bear line? Where are the additional strong levels that I want to introduce to make sure is on my members chart? So my goal will be to update that either tonight or tomorrow, for sure. All right, let's look at that. I think that is everything that we need to have marked to go into the trading session. I feel good about that. I want you to add this to your chart. I want you to add here. Stop. Okay. I want you to add this, and what I want you to put this as, I'm going to put this as white solid. What I'm going to put this was a London overnight low and put BS. And that's going to go in my sessions folder. I like that there. We're going to move that to the 30-minute. This ray we're going to put in the trend folder. Trend. Turn that off. Turn that off. And honestly, I think that completes the high time frame levels. I believe that's really good. There's no sense in wasting any further time. Thanks for joining me. And hopefully you marked some levels that will prove to be beneficial in your trading this week. All right. See you guys for the AM briefing, probably Tuesday morning. And maybe I'll do something special for Monday. We'll see. But thanks for joining me and have a great evening.
Stay green, my friends. And to learn more about our group, go to microstrader.com.